Hey guys, how you doing? So since I did the live video, I haven't went back to the curly maple bowl. So I'm going to pull this out of its wood chips and we'll see what we have. Definitely tell that that is a piece of curly maple because it's heavy. That's it back out the way. All right, so same thing. Get you guys back down here where you can see what's going on. Find my coffee cup and my other projects. I hope everybody's had a good weekend. I haven't been making many videos here lately, mostly because it is peak rut here in Pennsylvania, and I am an absolute nut for archery season. So I've been hunting and preparing for one of my next jobs I'm going to. So I haven't had the time to put a lot of videos up, but I wanted to get back to doing a little bit more on this so it can be drying. And like I said, still got to make some progress somewhere. So for right now, we're just going to keep working on this small piece of curly maple. And just keep working on getting this bowl roughed out. I do kind of like doing these small limb bowls. They make really neat little jewelry gifts for people, especially for the stuff like their rings or even their keys. And I hope you can see that, like I said, this is just really small. I mean, the pieces I take off are just about transparent. You can almost see right through them. And it's quite a lot of fun. I absolutely love that noise. I mean, I could be crazy, but such a soothing thing to get to carve. We had a 4-H banquet last night, and I got kind of surprised. Anyway, I got a plaque from 4-H for my business. Giving them some donations. And if you are a business and you're watching my videos, find a 4-H group near you and see what you can do to help. Because anything you do to help 4-H kids is not just an investment into that specific group or that specific kid. It is an investment in the community you live in. It's a, I am a firm believer in a good work ethic. Being an employee, being my own employee, and then having employees in the past, you can teach people just about anything. It is really difficult to teach work ethic, getting up, getting your stuff done, being on time, being punctual, being accurate, being responsible. That is a really hard thing to teach. And that typically gets done in things like 4-H. The kids show up, they have projects they have to work on. They have mentors that help them with their projects. It gets a lot of kids outside and doing stuff that they might not do otherwise. So, personally, anything I can do to help a 4-H kid or an FFA member. And I'm a small business, so it's not like I donate millions of dollars or anything like that. But I try to donate time. I try to donate materials off my mill. Like I said, it's the future of your community. A lot of times in those 4-H and FFA, Boy Scouts are another one, Girl Scouts. Those are kids that are actively doing something in their community. And you want to help them. You want to be part of that community, and you want to make sure that they have every opportunity they can to work on those projects, because most of the time, a lot of the time, their projects are community based. They're there to help the community. And I didn't do 4-H as a kid. My wife did. My kids are in 4-H. So it's a different kind of group than what I'm used to. I was in FFA all through high school, and I'm not going to say that 4-H and FFA are the same thing, but they have a lot of the same values, a lot of the same crossover. And again, both of those organizations where I've been a member of both, I can tell you, or a member of one and have kids in one, they teach your kids a lot. They teach you a lot. I don't go to many of my kids' meetings, mostly because I'm working, but I get to help them with their projects. I get to help them with their books. Our state here, the Penn State Extension Office, has booklets that kind of give them a guide to how to work on their projects. And your kids really do learn some absolutely amazing things when they're doing that stuff. They also get to learn interacting with other kids. Sometimes the kids aren't in the same age bracket that they are, so then your older kids are getting experience on how to work with younger kids. Your younger kids get to see the older kids' projects, and they have a certain level of, man, I can't wait till I can do that. So again, if you're a small business and you can do something to help 4-H, rather that be, donating money or donating your time, or it doesn't have to be a financial donation. It can be a lot of things. Like I said, most of anything I have done has been my time or some boards off my mill to help with certain projects. It all adds up. The kids enjoy it. And when you walk at your county fair and you get to see some of the projects that you had a hand in helping those kids get done, it's pretty awesome. It's a really neat feeling. And I would donate to something like that before I donated to something that wasn't necessarily helping in my community. So, like I said, just find your local 4-H groups. If you go, like I know for us, our extension office is typically where you can go to find a lot of that stuff. And like I said, help them out. They are kids that have a goal in mind, and they already have some ambition to do things. Why not? Why not help them along? You never know, your business might need some good employees someday, and you know, them donations you made over the years to teach kids good work and responsibility might pay off in more ways than you know. As my dad says, you have to take care of the kids because someday the kids will take care of you. Wish our politicians knew that. No, it was a lot of fun. I do still try to hide behind the camera as much as possible over anything. I have found that if you are behind the camera, you are less likely to get stuck in front of it. I am slowly getting over my irritation of having my picture taken. I got a whole bunch of small basswood staves cut out. I'm going to fire up my joiner planer and get them all down to a couple of specific sizes for making like some kitchen spoons. And hopefully I'll be starting some videos there shortly. I'm not quite sure where or when or who is going to get this small maple bowl, but we'll see. We'll see who, where, and when this ends up somewhere. I do like carving maple. It is not one of the easiest woods to carve, but it does carve nice. I'm slightly scared to do so. I got some locust that has been drying. That is on my list of want to carve just because I haven't carved yet. But until I carve a piece of it and know how that's going to turn out, I don't necessarily want to post any videos on it, because locust is miserably hard wood. It definitely doesn't smell that good sometimes. Honey locust is right full of thorns. We mostly have black locust around here, and it's still covered in thorns. They're just not as nasty. So far, I'm been pretty impressed with this small Beaver Craft bowl gouge. And I should show you, you can do this work with a hook knife. It's a little different method. You're instead of cutting down in, you're more cutting from the bottom out. At least in something that's this deep to cut. But you can cut from the top down in, but it's rather difficult once your bowl gets this deep. these ends are being quite difficult where the grain is so tight in these. Again, it does carve. It leaves a beautiful sheen right behind your knife blade here, but like I said, to use a hook knife on this is still very capable, but I don't feel like I have the control with the hook knife that I have with a bowl gouge. If you have a wood species that you like to carve, if you are a carver, write a comment. Let me know what you like. If it's something I haven't used before, I would be more than willing to get my hands on some to try. And I do think that is one of the neatest parts of carving, is you can get all sorts of different wood species from all over the world. I know a buddy of mine was doing some carving on some Oriental wood that was ridiculously hard, and it didn't carve hard, but it definitely took a long time because of how dense the wood was. You're making really small cuts, but there was almost no finish work necessary, just because the surface left behind the knife was really smooth, really clean. And I will say that is one benefit to maple. It does carve a little harder than some of your other hardwoods, but the cleanup work behind your knife is a lot less than other pieces. I think basswood has a hard time getting a really nice clean finish. It is definitely one of the easiest woods to carve, but I think it's so soft it just doesn't have the grain structure to hold stuff together well. So if you don't have, like I said, if you don't have a bowl gouge like this and you're working on a small bowl or a spoon, you can use your hook knife, and I know it's hard to see, but I'm virtually just curling up from the bottom. Be careful when you get to this top edge. I tend to use the very tip of my hook knife and just leave a small chamfer on that edge, so as my knife comes up and out of that cut, I'm not cutting at the very top surface here, and it just helps mitigate cracking your project. It's not a complete fail-safe. You do have to kind of just have a feel for, hey, that's too much or that's not enough. And unfortunately, the only way you get that feeling is by breaking some projects along the way. All right, that actually really doesn't work that bad. I'm curious to see. I don't like doing it that way quite as much, but I do think that is another fun appeal to doing carving projects, is you don't have to have, you know, $100,000 shop to make some nice things. Realistically, you can have, you know, I'm going to say 50 to 80 bucks in some small carving tools, and within a couple weeks of practicing, you can make some neat little trinkets within a year, you could be making some relatively in-depth projects. Like I said, I've carved everything from spoons to spatulas to gun stocks. I've hand carved some mock parts for some different projects I've had working on. You know, now they have 3D printers. John Browning used to make a lot of his guns out of wood first, to see if they would function the way he wanted them to function. You know, so some carving knives and some easy to carve wood was the 3D printer from his era. I don't see a lot of videos on doing that either, and on doing what I'm doing here. But you can use your hook knife like a scraper if you just want to see kind of how clean your finish is, and it will pull these kind of little curly cues out once you get down so it's not as rough a surface. Just be careful, because the way your hook knife is beveled, you will dig right in. So just because I do it doesn't mean you probably should do it, but I've got bad habits when it comes to some of that stuff, and I'm probably not going to get rid of them very well. But no, like I said, hook knife it is more than usable. It is definitely going to put a lot more tension on your wrist than using a spoon gouge, especially for bowls. A spoon gouge has this nice bevel design on the back, and a bowl or spoon gouge that has had some knowledgeable people design it, it almost cuts for itself. It works like a little lever. You just start to cut and pull back, and it does the work all for itself. Start the cut, and it just rolls around and does its thing. Well, I think that's going to be my video for the day. And I might get out in the shop a little bit more this afternoon. I didn't sleep good last night, so I'm kind of tired. And for some reason, when I don't sleep good, I get like nasty headaches. So I'm going to go in. I know the wife didn't sleep good either, so I'm going to try to work on some brownie points and maybe help out some in the house today. I've got to get tools around. Starting a new project tomorrow. Redoing a barn floor. And I will talk with the owner of said barn, and maybe I'll take you guys down there and do a video or two on that as well. But I also like to respect people's privacy, so we'll see what the owner says. And we'll go from there. Let me get this up. So again, thanks for watching the videos. I know some of my videos get quite long there. I really do appreciate it when you do watch them, because like I said, this helps me. It gives me a reason to get out in the shop and tinker with all my toys. And again, shut these electronics off. You know, everybody is so ramped up and nervous and mad about something anymore. Shut these things off. Don't watch politics. Don't listen to politicians. Sit down, do something productive for you, and have some fun with it. There's no sense getting mad about something you can't fix in your circle. So shut these electronics off, put some tools in your hand, and be productive. Have a good day.